Ripple has dozens of central banks. Folks, let's get right on into it. A Friday update that's going to blow your mind. We have the official word coming from the team at Ripple. We got to get right on into it. Now, we look at the prices right now, just chilling, 29,300 for Bitcoin, 1873 for Ethereum, and 71 cent XRP. We're just chilling, moving sideways. We got a little run up this morning to 29.5. Didn't last long, back down to 29.3. We'll watch it closely. But we are talking about a financial revolution when it comes to Bitcoin from Patrick McHenry, Congressman, running the show over there, Financial Services Committee, I believe. And so you're starting to see Larry Fink, CEO of BlackRock, talking about traditional currencies being transcended by cryptocurrencies. You have our politicians here talking about the financial revolution. We shared the video earlier this morning about Congress passing major bills passing through the committee, but the unfortunate news is that they're taking a month-long recess and they won't be back until after Labor Day. But in this update, we're mostly going to be talking about XRP, the fact that Ripple has dozens of central bank partnerships in the making, multiple 5 partnerships that are live, projects that are live with central banks, and 5 that haven't been announced, plus dozens more than that. And so we're going to break it all down in today's episode. I appreciate everyone for tuning in. If you're excited for the future of XRP, Ripple, some of these partnerships underway, make sure we smash that thumbs up, share this message out far and wide. I appreciate all of you guys. Right on into it. Jay the Great, we get the reaction from the Bitcoin maxis, and it's absolutely just hilarious and embarrassing. Just embarrassing and pathetic, this take here from Anthony Pompliano, the Bitcoin maxi, selling the Bitcoin pizzas. Hey, how's that program working out for you? And so let's listen in on his pathetic response on the XRP Ripple ruling.
Let's talk about when is it going to happen with XRP, because, of course, XRP has had an incredible run-up, even as it's got the SEC breathing down its neck. It got a thick...
And now I just want to say that it just sounds so amazing to see on Fox Business, this is Fox Business, right? We're not quite yet on the full Fox platform. CNN hasn't covered this case at all, but it just does feel good to see CNBC, Yahoo Finance, some of the others are starting to cover it in the financial media world. The mainstream media, they're not telling the folks about anything other than just some crypto, basic Bitcoin news. But it's just so nice. Gives me such a warm, fuzzy feeling inside to see and hear XRP mentioned on the mainstream news. They are finally getting the masses into this thing, and we positioned ourselves so perfectly. But let's listen in on the pathetic response from Pompliano.
Favorable judge ruling, court ruling rather, and we're waiting to see if the SEC will appeal that ruling, which basically was in XRP's favor. Right now it's at 71 cents. Where do you think XRP moves toward through all of this drama?
Yeah, I'm not sure about prices. What I do know, though, is you had a group of people who went ahead and they were building a business, building technology.
Yep.
The government came in and said, hey, look, what you're doing is wrong. You're violating these rules. And they went to court. And I actually think that we are now seeing cases that have been going on for a long time where we're starting to get some of the judgments. We're starting to get some of the clarity. People in the crypto community have been asking for regulatory clarity for a long time. People in the regulatory bodies have been saying the existing rules are the clarity, comply with them. And so I think in the XRP case, it's a great example where they went to court, they laid out their arguments, the regulatory bodies laid out their arguments, and a judge made a decision. Now there's appeals and other kind of knock-on effects, but ultimately in the country of the United States, going to court and making your case is part of what it means
freedom.
To have the best capital markets
100%.
and freedom. Absolutely.
Part of the U.S. and our laws is that Congress can move to regulate things. Actually, the Bitcoin and the crypto world has been begging for guardrails to say, let us move forward. And
so what we have here, folks, is Pompliano stating the obvious, right? Ripple went to court, they got the ruling, and he doesn't really want to talk about it, right? And you can see him get uncomfortable right as they begin and start to ask that question, which I'm sure they primed him with. So the fact that they probably primed him with that question and he still gave such a pathetic, just such a pathetic response. just ridiculous. But I wouldn't expect anything less from Pompliano, the Bitcoin maxi, who tried to say that XRP was a security, said that nobody's adopting Ripple, so that nobody's using XRP, nothing's happening with it, even though we now have a stable coin that's live on the XRP ledger. Multiple central banks have started using the private version of this XRP ledger, along with partnerships that haven't been announced yet. I'm about to play you the video where they're in conversations with dozens of central banks. We already have hundreds of banks and financial institutions on board. And Anthony Pompliano doesn't want to reiterate the fact, the law of the land, which is that XRP in and of itself is not a security. The token itself is not a security. So, this is just what's so hilarious about that Bitcoin and Ethereum maxis, that crowd that is so scared of this. Because now that we have clarity and they know we have way more utility than Bitcoin, there's nothing to be done with Bitcoin besides good luck, storing value. Good luck. God bless. Hope it works out, right? There's no utility with Bitcoin. And so this is what they fear the most, is now the XRP has the clarity, can proceed. The partnerships start to get announced, and you're going to see dozens that we're going to be talking about here today. And these folks are just in complete denial about it. And they're so desperate to maintain this whole, I want to say Ponzi scheme, but I don't know if that's the right term. It basically essentially is with what's been propped up with the Bitcoin and Ethereum, the mainstream crypto community. That's what I call it. The mainstream crypto community. And they capture everybody, right? When everybody first comes into crypto, they hear about Bitcoin, then they hear about Ethereum. And so many people, how many times have you heard someone say that you have to have Bitcoin and Ethereum in your bag? To be a crypto investor, you got to pick up some Bitcoin and you got to pick up some Ethereum. Well, they're the number two. This party for them is coming to an end, and that's why they're so desperate. You can hear the panic in their voice, and I just find it so funny. But with that being said, folks, let's continue on. Let's get right on into it. Anthony Welfare commenting on this interview that we get with CoinDesk, and that's going to be with James Wallace, Ripple Vice President of Central Bank Digital Currencies. And so we have an interview here discussing the world's first government-issued stablecoin in Palau, with the project aiming to be a poster child for a regulated stablecoin using the public XRP ledger with very clear boundaries for usage and the fact that it is backed by the US dollar. Also covers the initial use cases, retail, peer-to-peer lending, and using the XRP Ledger DEX feature, amongst many other things. And so that's the thing, folks, is you can go watch these transactions. You can go watch these wallets on the public mainnet. You go to XRP Scan, you can go find these transactions. This is not on the private CBDC layer. This is on the public mainnet. And so remember all those folks that tried to FUD us out and tell us, even with the central banks, that the central banks were never going to touch the public ledger, that they weren't going to use the same XRP tokens as us. And now we start to see the stablecoins going live, US dollar-backed stablecoin going live. Funny enough, the first stablecoin that's being issued by a government here is going to be a US dollar-backed one, along with the partnership with Bank of Montenegro, working with that, basically backing that one by the euro. And then you're starting to see other projects as well. So the interview that we're talking about is this one right here, and we're going to give a huge shout out to Fame21 Moore, Darren Moore Jr. for sharing this and clipping up this. This is from this interview, and there are 195 countries in the world. James says that 5 partnerships have been announced, 5 have not been announced, but that they are in conversations with 20 more. If the conversations turn into signed deals, that is 30 out of 195 countries, or about 15% running on Ripple's CBDC platform that offers private or public XRP. And just because you're on the private version of the ledger doesn't mean that you're not going to have interoperability to connect with the main net. Now let's listen in on this interview. Huge shout out to Fame21 More for clipping this one up for us.
I would tell you that outside of the US, the SEC case, had almost no impact on our ability to get conversations and projects going with central banks. I know here in the US, we focus a lot on the US, that's what you'd expect. But the reality is that the rest of the world does not see things the same way. I think it's been clear for a while that countries like the UK and Switzerland and Japan have been very clear that XRP is not a security. So anyway, moving on to the CBDC side, it's not really been an impediment. Since we started 2.5 years ago on this project, we've announced 5 different countries that are working with us. We have a similar number that are not announced, and then we have 20 plus other active discussions underway. So we've announced 5 different countries that are working with us. We have a similar number that are not announced, and then we have 20 plus other active discussions underway. So
gotta love the slow motion from Darren. Thank you so much, brother, for clipping that up from us. And so you guys can go watch that full interview if you want. But James, talking about 5 that have been announced, 5 that haven't been announced, but 20 plus more conversations. And so you're looking at dozens of central banks that are in conversations right now with Ripple. We have 5 announced, 5 unannounced. So if we just get a couple more, that would bring us to a dozen live partnerships projects. But we can assume, it's fair to say, it's fair to speculate, right, that they're going to pick up at least a few more, at least. And so incredible success. I'm very interested on the 5 that haven't been announced, how some of these other countries here that are yet to be announced. That's a very big deal. And it's going to be interesting to see who all decides to build, stable coins or CBDCs. They're kind of the same thing, right? But what they're going to back them by. And, basically if they're going to build on the public mainnet like Palau did, or if they're going to use the private version, but they're all going to have that interoperability to the XRP mainnet. And the thing that I'm really looking at and speculating on and excited to see is how much XRP these countries and central banks add to their balance sheet, right? Even if they're going to use the private version, how much XRP do they want to swoop up and take to the private version to use over there for their own liquidity pools, right? And so that's what's so interesting to me. What's ramping up right now is all these partnerships, all these announcements. I'm going to show you guys another one here that we're talking about. Mary C. Hall shares this, and everyone should go follow Mary Hall. She is the CBDC product marketing at Ripple. Huge shout out to Mary. She says, thanks for sharing the work that you are doing with us. And she tags this gentleman here, advisor in the Prime Minister office in charge of the economic policy matters. And this person is working for the Bank of Montenegro. So here we have this shared yesterday, Anthony Welfare. It was pleasure yesterday to tap into potential use cases of Montenegro CBDC stablecoin with Ripple team. Fantastic opportunity for policymakers to use this technology to improve system and innovate. And so they're going to be working there with the euro as well. So that's a very big deal taking place. We move on over to South Korea, where Ripple takes notice of South Korea, looks to boost XRP ledger adoption. Let's take a look at this article from Blockworks. Ripple takes notice of South Korea, looks to boost XRP ledger adoption. And they partner up with this company called Catalyze Research to bolster awareness of the XRP ledger. Now we know that there's already been, they love XRP over here in South Korea. I'm not sure if North Korea has the freedom to buy XRP, but they're in South Korea. They have been scooping up. And you got to remember that, remember last bull run, 2017, 2018, part of what stopped the pump is in the middle of the night, CoinMarketCap actually removed the trading volume and the prices out of the Korean exchanges that were going absolutely nuts in the middle of the pump for no reason. They just removed the data from Korea. And so it really messed up the price. It caused the price to tank. But right now we're starting to see that Ripple is taking notice and they're looking to expand the XRP ledger within South Korea. So the APAC region, very strong. A lot of ODL growth over there. South Korea, we're flipping the switch over there as well. Now we play a little clip here, 60 seconds, talking about the tokenized future with Ripple. And they're going to share who this is. They didn't tag him, but this gentleman here from Ripple, we're going to hear another 60 minutes. Crypto in 1 minute from Ripple, talking about the tokenized future. Let's take a listen.
This is tough. Hello, my name is Jazz Takar, and this is Crypto in a Minute. So what does a tokenized future look like? So first, let's define what tokenization actually is. Tokenization is the representation of real-world value on a blockchain with tokens. And so, if we think about financial instruments, I see a future where equities and bonds and other instruments are represented as tokens on a blockchain. I also see more illiquid assets, such as real estate, being represented on blockchains through tokens also. So what does the future hold? What does all this mean for us individuals? It allows us all to own fractions of assets we otherwise could not afford. I can't afford to fund a film, but maybe I can own a token that partially funds a movie. I could buy a token that represents a rainforest because I want to preserve it for ecological reasons. So look, I see a future where we all own value that we otherwise couldn't own. We own fractions of assets we otherwise couldn't own. And yeah, that's what I see. We good? Is that it? Can I go?
Great work by Team Ripple. Love to see it. You know, from a rainforest to real estate, we're going to tokenize it all. And what I'm excited for is the ease of capital to flow where value is most needed and in most demand, right? No longer will it be difficult to tokenize and carve up a piece of art, to carve up real estate, get funding for your business, or to actually save a rainforest. Not just talk about doing something, but how do we actually do it? You know, if that's going to be our mission and goal to save the world and save the rainforest, then we can use technology like this to actually help get that done. Now, you know, just incredible work with the team at Ripple, everything that's being set up right here. Fantastic. Still remaining patient, but there is something that I want to share with you guys as we close out this session. A little bit of TA on the DXY. That's going to be the dollar index, shared here by Crypto Insight. Will, he's from UK. He says, I feel crypto is setting up to explode to the upside. As we know, the DXY is often inversely correlated with crypto, meaning when the DXY goes down, crypto goes up and vice versa. The last few days, the DXY has been heading upwards. However, I feel it is about to reverse. If we zoom out on the daily, it is clear that the DXY is in a downtrend. We saw the initial move up with a bounce. This was followed by a period of distribution where we formed a sequence of lower highs. Eventually, the support at around 100 broke down. We formed gaps as bulls were exhausted. In the last few days, we have closed these gaps and retested the breakdown area. If we hold here and form another lower high, I expect this trend to continue. This is key for a crypto run to the upside. Let's take a look at this chart here from Crypto Insight UK. Huge shout out to Will. We've had him on the show, I think, at least once. And he's looking here. The downtrend has been confirmed through a period of distribution. Now we look to continue. And we've been talking about this, right? The dollar had its days. People were appreciating it because what was happening? Our Fed was raising interest rates at the fastest pace in history. You could put your money into a T-bill or a bond and, you know, 3, 4, 5% return. So the dollar, and people needed to come back to the dollar because other currencies were being devalued faster. So we enjoyed that run up, which was a big part of why inflation came down, is because the dollar had so much strength that you know, gas, oil, all of it got cheaper for us. That's now flipped. You're starting to see that the price of grain shot up. You see the price of oil back above $80 per barrel. There's a 2 million barrel per day deficit right now. And this impacts all commodities, including crypto. So whether this, you know, next run up is going to happen next week, that's not what I'm expecting. But it is coming. Continuation breaking down for the dollar, and you're going to see the real money, or the money flow into the real assets, I should say, like gold, silver, XRP, XLM. The suppressed assets are being set free, and it's an incredible time to be alive and take advantage of the opportunity. We call it the greatest transfer of wealth in world history, and I hope that you guys are going to take advantage of it. With that being said, guys, I'm going to get rolling here, but we got the Discord weekly call tomorrow. If you guys are looking to get tapped in over there with the Discord community, just head on over to my website, zachrector.com, and we would love to have you join us over there. I have another real estate update that I already recorded that's going to be dropping here shortly as well too. So make sure you guys stay tuned by subscribing, hitting that notification bell so you don't miss any of our updates. And once again, on the way out, can you please do me a favor and smash it? God bless you all. We'll see you.